First and foremost, I'd like to give all praise to Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem Kakadosh. Double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone who are teaching this truth. And a shout out to Yakim that's out there on the four quarters of the earth proclaiming this truth. Going into the cities, risking your lives to teach this word, because the truth hurts, don't it? You know, the truth is that everything you've been told has been a lie, you know, from the very beginning, from when you were born. Hence, picking up from GMS SF discussion, you know, edifying video, yeah, the truth hurts, don't it, you know? Pretty much that, you know, Esau's been exposed for all the lies of Syria, you know, more recent things, you know, that pretty much all they do is they go into countries and they send in terror groups to do their dirty work, and then they say that they're fighting a war on terrorists, when really, truly, they were the orchestrators of the terrorist groups, you know. And pretty much ISIS is really a combination of the White Helmets, which is nothing more than an acting group, you know, which is formed in both Syria and in the United States, right here in California, as a matter of fact. You know, that pretty much most of the videos of the so-called hostage situations are done on a screen, you know, to make you think that the terrorist group has these hostages. So what has America been doing lately? Well, so-called Syrian Democratic Forces, which is really another terrorist group, is another terrorist proxy, has been exchanging prisoners with the terror groups, you know, make it look like they're winning the war on terrorism when they're the ones that created the terrorists to begin with, you know. And pretty much it's all that the United States wants to do to destroy a country. And you can look at some of these dismantled countries, and you can see, though, that very much so, that after they take out who they want to, such as Saddam Hussein or Muammar Gaddafi, does that country really get rebuilt or restructured? No. It's run by terrorists, you know, and pretty much Libya and Iraq are still unstable to this day, you know. Though they might get another leader in there, the terrorist groups run them places, you know. You know, you had that actress Angelina Jolie going over to Iraq, you know, to fake a few tears and then say that it's the most horrifying thing that she ever saw. Yeah, when she herself is behind the White Helmets and all the false flag narratives, you know, because they want to control the narrative to make you think that America's really fighting a war on terrorism, when really, truly, they are the terrorists. And it's all about dismantling countries and stealing their resources. Look at all the money that ISIS made, aka black market, the United States, the Rothschilds made, on all the stolen artifacts from Syria and Iraq. Sold for millions and millions of dollars, you know. And that's what they do. They've done the same to Libya. You know, Libya would have actually secured the entire continent of water. You know, it had gotten rid of the water problem there, you know. But they took out Muammar Gaddafi, most of all for the same reason they took out Saddam Hussein, because they both wanted to bypass the U.S. dollar. The same as Iran and the BRICS nations, you know, pretty much. They all wanted to bypass the U.S. dollar. They're tired of the petrol currency, so they you know, find other ways of trading. Well, once that happens, the United States finds a false narrative to go in and invade that country, overthrow that government, and send in the terror groups first. They send in the terrorists. They send in the terrorists, and then they say that they're fighting a war on terrorism. But it's been a lie. It's been a hoax. And who's the expendable ones, you know? Who really is paying for this? Rothschilds, Rockefellers, man. They're the ones that are funding this whole operation. So, you know, pretty much, you know, it's no surprise. U.S. rescinds funding to the White Helmets, you know, so they're getting ready for their next false flag event to say that it's the Bashar al-Assad government. And really, truly, though, it's what they want you to believe, you know, that he's gassing his own people. The same shit you heard about Saddam Hussein. Then Saddam Hussein was removed from power. Look at Iraq now. Them terror groups run free. Look at Libya now. Them terror groups run free. The same terrorists that are in Libya and Iraq are the same ones that are in Syria now, you know. But they want to control the whole thing and convince everyone that, yeah, they're fighting a war of terror. And that truth is out. And that truth is hurting Esau. You know, they've gotten to the point that they can't even show the war footage anymore. Your video will get flagged or taken down if you show any coverage whatsoever. RNU Videos is the only one left besides War Leaks, which you hardly see that channel anymore, putting up videos. But they show you the coverage of what's going on in Syria, that pretty much the United States is funding all the terrorist groups. And pretty much the United States, when they are in there, which they are, they're bombing the Syrian Arab army. And they have even shot at Russia too. You know, saying that, you know, oops. You know, like, you know, take the U.S. fighter jet that was shot down over Ankara. You know, Ankara, you know, and of course now they, you know, Turkey is now siding more with Russia. They're pretty much playing both sides. Gomer, they're playing both sides of it because, of course, they've been making a lot of money off the oil, you know, and that's what it's really all about. You know, they play both sides, you know, which, you know, they get the best of both worlds. So they have the S-400 systems in Turkey, and they also can buy the F-35 jets from America, you know. And the United States is like, oh, no, you can't buy S-400 systems. Well, Turkey's not stupid, you know, that they know that the moment that they disagree, such as the Jerusalem being the capital of the Israeli state, you know, the terrorist, because that's who's really funding everything, Amalek, the terrorist. The Israeli state is the one that's funding this whole operation. So when they speak out about Jerusalem being their capital, when it's really Tel Aviv, you know, that right there, and then not to mention, you know, you got the other parts of it, you know, the UN Security Council, the United States, you know, withdrawals from the Human Rights Council, you know, and then they're going to say, oh, well, they're not, you know, they're not really for human rights, you know, that's all that they could say. It's like, yeah, well, we know that the United States has been controlling the UN for the longest, though, but now it's stepping out, you know. Pretty much, these are the nations turning against the whore. And this truth hurts Esau, and that's why, you know, they're trying to take down videos and all that, because he's being exposed for everything. Because no one else can learn this song except the 144,000. They want the truth, they can't handle the truth, because the truth actually hurts. You know, like I said, continuing on from GMSSF discussion, a really good edifying video there. I highly recommend it if you hadn't already seen it. You know, but pretty much, though, they been exposed, you know. And I'm just talking about recent events, you know, within the last 10 or 20 years. Not to mention everything else that's already there that they're trying to change history, you know, trying to just cover it up by writing a new history, you know. And so, you know, I'm just going to read Revelation chapter 17, verse 4. I think I probably read out of this last week, but, you know, we know what's going on. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abomination and filthiness of her fornication. So, you know, America's fingerprints are all over the terrorism. It's all over the filthy abominations of the earth, you know. You got pretty much they're having drag queen competitions now in your regular school talent shows, you know. And kids are forced to participate into this, you know. It's just, you know, there's no end to that, you know. And upon her head was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth, you know. And we already know this, you know, blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, and the confusion face that be among us, you know. We know that this part is true. Verse 6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints. Who are the saints? Blacks, Latinos, Native Americans that make up the nation of Israel, the 12 tribes. With the blood of the martyrs of Yahushua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. You know, and that doesn't mean that, oh, I admire you, you're wonderful. No, it means that pretty much that, you know, it's like, wow, man, did all this? How could he get away with it, you know? Kind of like Isaiah chapter 14 prophecy, you know, it's like, is this the man that made the nations to stumble? You know, and that's how he admired, you know, wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Whereest thou, marvel? I will tell you the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, that is the UN, NATO, and the EU, you know, which had 7 heads and 10 horns. And of course, we know that this is Esau's kingdom, the revised Roman Empire. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition. You know, and that's what happened. They went into captivity for 1,000 years. And after the 1,000 years, they came down from the caves, the cliffs of the rocks, and they started to take over again. And they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, where they behold the beast that was and is not, and yet is, and again, you know, this is talking about the 2/3 that don't want to accept this truth, that can't handle this truth, that bug out, that, you know, would just rather believe the fairy tale of Christianity that everybody can be saved, you know, that they don't want to accept that they're unique and peculiar people, that this is only dealing with the nation of Israel, that Yahushua really said that he came to save that of which was lost, his people, Israel. And here is the mind which hath wisdom, the 7 heads and the 7 mountains on which the woman sitteth, and there were 7 kings, 5 are fallen, and 1 is, and the other is not yet come, and when he cometh, he must continue a short space. We're in that short space now, pretty much, you know. And then the beast that was and is not even in the 8th, and goes and is of the 7th, and goeth into perdition. And the 10 horns that thou sawest are 10 kings which have received no kingdom as yet, but receive power as kings 1 hour with the beast. What's this talking about? This is talking about the hour that Babylon the Great, America, is being destroyed. You know, and there's more details about that in 1 hour. You know, you can read about that in Revelation 14 and in 18. They have one mind and shall give their power and strength unto the beast. All these nations are going to give their power over to the beast, the UN nations of the EU, and they're going to fight against the Most High. Because look at this, verse 14. And they shall make war with the Lamb. That's talking about Yahushua, and that's when he's come down on the chariots. They're going to try to fight the chariots and Yahushua, a.k.a. the flying roll. And the Lamb shall overcome them, duh, because we're superior to his technology. For he is Lord of lords and King of kings. And they that are with him are called and chosen and faithful. And that's what we hope to be. That's why we always say hopefully we're part of that elect. And saith thou unto me, the waters that which thou seest, where the horse sitteth, and peoples, and multitudes, and nations, and tongues. We already know that that's talking about America, Babylon the Great. You know, but, you know, it's just, there's people that accept that America is Babylon the Great. You got even Edomites that know that. They can see that. But they don't want to accept that the only people that are going to get saved out of that are the elect of Israel. They don't want to accept that part of it. You know, they can accept that America is Babylon the Great, but they don't want to accept the rest of it. You know, that's just kind of taking what you want of it and then, you know, believing all these false philosophies. A lot of people are now realizing that America is Babylon the Great, but they still want to hold on to Christianity. They want to hold on to that fairy tale that everyone can be saved. If that were the case, then Babylon the Great would never be destroyed, now would it? So, you know, all this, you know, they're going to make this illegal soon. You know, there's even a sign up where I'm at right now that says loitering prohibited, you know? So, you know, pretty much they're making it to where, you know, here in this state, you have to register the Bible as a lethal weapon, and, you know, you're going to get to a point that, yeah, we're going to be run off. But until that time, it's time to go out and proclaim this while we still have the time. So I hope this has been edifying, and shalom, barakatah, to all you that are coming into this truth. Despite what you look like, if you have the spirit to receive this, and you know that everything is true, and you research it to prove it to be true, then you're an Israelite, despite what you might look like. Shalom.